Welcome to Tomes and Tunes, episode 9, featuring Jeb Colwell, and here he is. Hi, Jeb.
Oh, hey, everybody. Thanks. Hi, Arielle. Hi. Thanks for having me.
I like the hat. It really makes the outfit.
Thanks. It's actually a hat earphone combination that they're doing right now.
Oh, it's all the rage,
Yeah,
right?
it's all connected. It's all one thing.
You're so fashion forward. I've noticed. How about the cape? You still have that?
I do. Yeah. In fact, I'm getting a lot of use out of that lately. Yeah, I'll be flying to a town near you soon. In fact, speaking of town near you, I'm wearing a concert T-shirt. This is the last show that I saw before COVID. Wodehouse, Roger Wodehouse. I know he's a huge star in LA. Of course, you know him, right?
Best friends.
Of course.
You're coming out to LA?
We'll see. You know, I'm camping right now, so I'm not camping in this house. I'm just doing a show in this house, but at night I camp, and who's to say? Maybe LA will be a stop. There's good camping in LA, right?
There's great camping in LA. By the way, I just realized, friends, family, fans, strangers, welcome to Tomes and Tunes. This is Jeb Colwell. He's my guest, episode 9, and he is in New York City. He is a composer and a songwriter. I didn't even introduce you, Jeb.
Oh, it's okay.
I know. And so Jeb is right now camping in his own home. Is that right?
Well, truth be told, I am on the first leg of my camping adventure, and I'm in Virginia today.
Oh.
So yeah, I haven't really. I've been kind of keeping it on the down low, but you know, if the truth starts to seep out a little bit, that way we keep the anticipation high.
Nothing like broadcasting it to all of the Facebook interwebs to keep it a secret.
Yeah. What other? No better way than to do it
No
this
better way.
Yeah.
So you're in Virginia and you're making your way to Los Angeles, or nearby.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing.
Please.
So this has been in the works for months. I've been isolated to New York City. It hasn't been so bad, but I was laid off my job. I work as a waiter in New York to support my music habit, and I am. You know, the restaurant industry is really hurting. I guess the upside is having been laid off, I was able to apply for unemployment benefits. So I do get a little bit of a stipend every week. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to go visit my parents who live on the West Coast. So I'm driving across the country.
Wow.
And with my girlfriend, and we're at her parents' place in Roanoke right now.
Wow.
And we're doing all the things. We're doing the testing. We have it down to a science to make sure we're in tip-top shape and not harming anybody. In fact, I should really be wearing my mask right now. I always feel naked no matter where I am. Even if I'm on the phone in my own home sometimes. It's such a habit now to have a mask on.
If you'll feel more comfortable with it, feel free to don your mask.
It's fine.
Yeah. Hi, Debbie. I see you. Nice to join us. Thank you for being here. So you're in Roanoke, Virginia right now, and you are heading... What's your route? Are you going to go further south first?
Oh, no. So
take a right turn.
Right. If you've seen the COVID map of late,
oh yeah.
Yeah, everything is really touch and go.
Yeah. You
know, due west and south of here. So we're actually going to take the northern route. And we're going to camp the whole way. So we're going to have very little contact with people.
Jeb, I've driven across this country a few times.
Yeah.
I'm an East Coast girl and was on tour across the country, and now I live on the West Coast. So I'm kind of familiar with some routes, but I don't think I ever stumbled upon a route where you start in New York and you drive north and you hit Virginia. So
yeah.
Your northern route sounds a little different than a northern route that I've taken.
Well,
you're headed back up.
Well, the thing is Jess's parents live in Roanoke, and Roanoke's an 8-hour drive away from New York. So we thought, let's go see your parents. And unfortunately, Jess's grandmother died this past week. So now,
you had mentioned that there was something going on in the family. Right.
So and that's in Western Kentucky, which is another 8 hours from here. So fortunately, because of the timing, we're going to be able to, on our way out, be at the funeral. Distance from people. I mean, Jess won't be able to hug her own mom. It's going to be tough, but we're just trying to. It's this is unprecedented, right? What we're dealing with. So we have to just do the best we can, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going from Virginia to Kentucky, and then continuing north up after that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go through. Like, our next stop would be Nebraska, I think.
Oh wow!
And then the Badlands. We're gonna hit up South Dakota, and then we're gonna try and make it to Yellowstone.
Oh wow!
Yeah, my parents are in Seattle. They're in
okay.
Vashon.
Right next door to Los Angeles.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, right? It's so close to each other.
So how long have you? I was gonna ask you what you've been up to lately, and so I guess you've been on the road. I didn't even realize that. And when do you plan to hit Seattle?
I think it's probably going to be. We'll arrive by next weekend. Would be our goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh. And so taking a road trip in the time of COVID across the gigantic United States, or ununited states as we might be in current times.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be camping. Does that mean tents?
Well, I've heard that camping can be in tents.
But I'm bummed.
Thank you. Yes, we have purchased a tent. We have an air mattress.
Yeah. That's my style of camping.
Yeah?
Tent and air mattress.
Air mattress.
Yep.
I think it's we're pretty happy about that. We don't have a mosquito net, and I think we might have to pick one up somewhere. Curbside delivery, of course. That's the only way we get things now.
And what are you going to eat? I'm camping food. That's the important question for me.
Well, we packed a cooler of things and a lot of dry goods. So we have a little Coleman stove with a pan. We're going to. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to supplement our dry goods, mostly beans and rice, I would say, and some spices. We eat really simply, but along the way we're going to forage and we're going to look for places where we might be able to maybe. We're going to take some back roads and see if we can see some farm stands and make some exchanges in safe ways. I know sometimes it's like on the road you'll see like the honor system. They'll have things out and you just sort of put the money where it. Yeah. So we're kind of counting on that a little bit.
I used to live in a place where right next at the end of the road was a blueberry shack, and there was a scale there, and they named their price. There was never anybody manning the scale, or no one was ever there. And you picked as many blueberries as you wanted. You weighed it on the scale. You put your money in the little tin, and the deer ate free.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
But
lucky
it was
enough.
It's I love that, just like trusting fellow human beings and the exchange of energy and recognizing that.
There's one on Vashon Island where my parents live where the money it's a chute basically. It's a long tube that goes down the hill towards their home. So you put it's really funny.
It's like a marble run.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
And so I have another important question.
Mm-hmm.
Food is important. The other important question is, what are you reading while you're on the road? Because this is Tomes and Tunes. Where
it is, yeah.
I talk about books with songwriters every week.
Yeah. Well, based on my last appearance on your show, if you remember, I kind of just grabbed one randomly from the shelf and read and sort of opened it up. That's kind of how I when I travel too. I love to operate in that way. I like to see what comes into my existence. For example, I'm staying a few nights at Jess's parents' house here in Roanoke, and there's some interesting books that I'm interested in taking with me. There's a Ta-Nehisi Coates book that I want to dive into. I don't have it handy the books that I brought with me are actually more like instructional books, but
That's entertaining.
you know this one?
Writing Better Lyrics by Patterson.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I want to
He
get
was
into this.
He was a teacher of mine.
Oh, see, you went to Berkeley, is that right?
I did.
Berkeley, yeah. And then there's this one,
I can't quite read it from here. What is...
The Mechanics of Songwriting: A Guitarist's Guide.
Oh, who's that by?
Leo Coulter. I actually bought this when I was in LA last year.
Huh.
This really cool used bookstore. I'm sure there's millions of them in LA, but
Not enough.
not enough.
Do you know which one it was? Which bookstore? There's one down the street from me called the Iliad.
It was in. Well, I heard it was famous, and it was. It's kind of in a.
Might have been like Book Soup or...
You know what? I wonder if it's written in the book here somewhere. Sometimes
yeah.
they write it in pencil or something. No idea.
No.
But I've enjoyed it. And in fact, there's some really great anecdotes in here. Do you want me to just open up to a page and
Do it.
take a chance? Okay.
Let's see what happens. Give us a paragraph. A couple sentences or paragraph.
Okay, all right. Here we go. The instrument you're composing at can really define the way a song ends up sounding. Absolutely. I rarely compose at the piano. Who is he talking to? Leo Coulter is interviewing artists. I should tell you who he's talking to. Eric Bazillion. Do you know who that is?
No.
He has written songs for artists and bands such as Cyndi Lauper, Robbie Williams, Scorpions, Journey, Ricky Martin, and John Bon Jovi.
That's
So
amazing.
I rarely compose at the piano. It's almost always a guitar or mandolin or mandola, I guess because those instruments are somewhat more limited. The geometry of the instrument will dictate what you play. But I actually like to work on the piano for melodies. My theory is that if you can't play a melody with one finger, then it's not a good melody. A good vocal melody you really can play with one finger. If you need more than that, you don't have it right. That's a good lesson, right?
Now, I know you play piano. Do you also play guitar? I think you do.
Well, I have this guy. Are you familiar with a guitarist?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great travel guitar.
Yeah. So what do you... I assume... I'm going to ask if you write on only piano or if you tend to move around instruments.
I really move around a lot. I like to keep it.
What determines why you choose which? Just whatever you happen to have in your hand, or?
Yeah, I think it's more about, for me, what the moment is calling for. Whatever was it within my reach, kind of along the lines of the books, the book that I happen to have next to me. Okay, this is the one we're going to read from, and get something, glean something that is in the moment.
Now, I just saw Josh mentioned. Hi, Josh, by the way. Nice to have you
Josh.
here. Josh says that he disagrees with the melody comment. What do you think, Jeb? Should you be able to play it with one? Did he say one finger?
One finger. Well, I think it's.
Well, you can't sing multiple notes most people cannot sing multiple notes at one time, so that would be true. That's
right.
not really talking about intervals.
No, I think he's talking more about like simplicity and I mean, what about like?
He's not talking about intervals. You don't think he's talking about ornamentation? Is that what you think?
I'm gonna have to brush up my theory here a little bit. I think. Well, you can't sing a chord by yourself, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Well,
Intervals?
definitely not. I mean, I can't. I know some people, magical people can. But
sure.
When he says melody with one finger, I wonder if he means, in other words, you couldn't do like a whole run just with one finger. That would be very hard. So he's talking about simplicity, or is he talking about like intervals, like?
No, because you think about one of the greatest melodies of all time starts with an octave. Somewhere over the rainbow, right? It's amazing. And you can do that with one finger. In fact, I've typed all of my college papers with two fingers. These two right here.
I type with too many fingers and I tend to trip over them and make a lot of typos and backspace and delete and go forward. And
okay.
It's slow going for me, which is That's why they don't charge writers by time. They charge them by
Oh
result.
my gosh, I know, right? Yeah, it's on us.
Oh, Mark is chiming in, and he says
Okay.
he's in Nebraska. Might you stop to play? He's from Omaha. Mark, where are you in Nebraska right now? Because Jeb is going to be swinging by your state sometime in the next couple of days.
Yeah. Well, we've thought about that too. I've been doing, as you know, some Facebook Live performances of my own weekly,
Yeah.
and I'm traveling with my girlfriend who's been kind of directing the lighting and the visuals for it. We've talked about maybe doing some socially distanced live things.
Yes.
We can find an open cornfield in Nebraska. There's corn in Nebraska, right?
I think the only challenge you would have is signal, right? If you're
Oh,
trying to stream.
well, I'm not talking about a Facebook Live. I'm talking about just for people who want to come listen. I mean, if Mark's in Nebraska and he wants to come and check it out.
Check it out, Mark. Go
I'll
see
tell-
Jeb in Nebraska.
I'll tell you what, Mark. We will trade you a live performance for a night camping on your lawn. We'd feel secure, and we won't ask you to use we won't ask to use your bathroom or anything. We have our own like portable
Thing.
bucket we got from Dick's Sporting Goods. It's pretty disgusting, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
I guess we'll just wait and see what Mark has to say.
Okay.
I love that. Jeb, I would like to share with you a passage from a book that I've been reading.
Would
the
you
last couple
please?
of
Yeah.
weeks. I have been reading Beloved by Toni Morrison, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant, and I've been talking the last couple of weeks on this show about how I tried to read this book a number of times. It's been sitting on my shelf, and there are two problems with this book for me. One is that this particular copy I got at a used bookstore. I'm not sure which, but it is, the pages are yellowed. The font, maybe it's just me getting older, but the pages are yellow and the font is small. There's not a real stark distinction between the black and the white. It's not quite black and it's not quite white. So that's one of the problems. And then the other problem is that the first paragraph, I knew nothing about the book except that it's celebrated, and I could never get through the first paragraph. And I would pull it off the shelf, I would try, and then I would put it back.
So you're gonna read us the first paragraph, right?
Yeah, first
Okay.
paragraph. No,
Yeah.
but a couple of weeks ago, I felt like I was ready, and maybe it was because of the books that I had read just before this book I read, Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, and before that I think it was Barbara Kingsolver's Poisonwood Bible, which I know is one that you love. Anyway, I think I was just primed. I was just ready for it, and it is brilliant. It's so great. So I'm gonna use your tactic, sort of. I just before you got on the call, I flipped through and I was like, okay, I'll read this little passage.
Cool.
So it was a little premeditated, but not really.
I forgive you.
Thank you. So let's see here. Orient myself to where I am. Okay. Of the two hard things, standing on her feet till she dropped, or leaving her last and probably only living child, she chose the hard thing that made him happy, her only living child, that made him happy, and never put to him the question she put to herself. What for? What does a 60-year-old slave woman who walks like a three-legged dog need freedom for? And when she stepped foot on free ground, she could not believe that Hal knew what she didn't. That Hal, who had never drawn one free breath, knew that there was nothing like it in this world. It scared her. Something's the matter. What's the matter? What's the matter? She asked herself. She didn't know what she looked like and was not curious. But suddenly she saw her hands and thought with a clarity as simple as it was dazzling, these hands belong to me. These my hands. Next, she felt a knocking in her chest and discovered something else new. Her own heartbeat. Had it been there all along? this pounding thing? She felt like a fool and began to laugh out loud. Mr. Garner looked over his shoulder at her with wide brown eyes and smiled himself. "What's funny, Jenny?" She couldn't stop laughing. "My heart's beating," she said. And it was true.
That's beautiful.
There's so much about, you grow up learning U.S. history and you understand that we have slavery as part of this nation's history. And I think one of the challenges with language is that language is symbolic. But because we use language all the time, when we say a word, frequently it loses its meaning, and what we see is the symbol, right? So like when you say "I love you," there are times when you just kind of say it, and there are times when it's heard just quickly, and then there are other times when you feel the full weight of that word love, right? And I realized as I'm reading this book that the word slave and slavery had become like that to me, where I have understood that it's a horrifying idea, and yet had not realized it hadn't fallen on my consciousness with its full weight, I guess, until first the Zora Neale Hurston book a little bit, but really this book, just so much that I hadn't felt viscerally until I read this and really started to understand. And this is one of the passages where, there's nothing horrible happening in this little passage, and yet, it's really the glory of, like, wow, I own my own hands. How much have I ever considered that before, that my hands were not my own?
It's very poetic. And now, does the entire book read equally poetically?
Oh, yes. I read this little bit. I think it might have been, if I can find it. She reads, two things that I love are she has lists, many, many lists. And actually I wrote a song a few months ago that had a list of things. I was trying to exercise that muscle, and so I was really attuned to it when I stumbled upon it in her writing. She has a lot of it in her writing. For example, this one. Who like him had hidden in caves and fought owls for food? Who like him stole from pigs? Who like him slept in trees in the day and walked by night? Who like him had buried themselves in slop and jumped in wells to avoid regulators, raiders, patrollers, veterans, hillmen, posses, and merrymakers? She goes, like, the compounding effect of word after word after word, and she does that. She does that in her writing a lot. She also, I love. I particularly, I think because I sometimes use food, or either use food as a device, or write about food, or somehow bring it into my, not so much my songwriting. I don't know if I ever have, but into my prose writing. And so I really notice when she talks about, like, the meals, the potatoes and the corn and the all that stuff. So yeah, the whole book is glorious. That first paragraph.
Why is that so challenging? The first paragraph. Can you read it for me?
Yeah, I'll read it. So the first sentence is challenging. Okay. 124 was spiteful. That's the first sentence. 124 was spiteful. And right from that moment, I was ungrounded. Like, what is 124? Is that the name of a person, or And I think that it's by design. I mean, we should feel a little ungrounded, but first paragraph, it's tough. So 124 was spiteful, full of a baby's venom. The women in the house knew it, and so did the children. For years, each put up with the spite in his own way. But by 1873, Seth and her daughter Denver were its only victims. The grandmother, baby Suggs, was dead, and the sons, Howard and Bugler, had run away by the time they were 13 years old. As soon as merely looking in a mirror shattered it, that was the signal for Bugler. Well, anyway, I could go on. It's a long paragraph, but already, like, within the first couple of sentences, we have 5 characters plus some baby's venom, so that's 6, plus the 124 house, which is 7. So, like, in the first couple of sentences, seven characters already introduced, and every time I was like, I can't keep it straight, and there's a grandmother named Baby Suggs, and I, like, all over the place couldn't keep it straight. But I just got to the part of the book where Baby Suggs explains her name, and Suggs is her husband's name, and Baby is what he called her, and so that was her name, and she was the one that in the scene I just read, the other man calls her Jenny, and her name is not Jenny, but her name on her slave bill of sale, it had said Jenny, and so he always called her Jenny for 10 years. So many things about being black in America at that time, being a woman and being black, being an enslaved person. I mean, there's so much, and it's a tough book, but it's beautiful.
Wow.
Beautifully written.
I'm actually, last night coming into Virginia, we were listening to this podcast that New York Times has called 1619. You familiar with it?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, and one of the things that they mentioned after the first episode, which is something I think is really remarkable, is that I take for granted as an American that we tend to forget that African Americans can't trace their history back to before 1619 or whenever they came here because of slavery, and that just seems so ungrounding, using that word. It's like and that what she said, what the narrator said, was that therefore, because the rest of us all came from somewhere else, African Americans are the only true Americans.
Because
they can only trace their roots back to here, as far as they know. Specifically, their families were all from here, where the rest of our families came over in pieces over the probably generations much later than many of the African Americans.
Well, I think there's so many interesting ideas in what you just said.
Yeah.
And first, I want to recognize that the American Indians who are from
of course, of course.
But also, there's so many ways that people have come over here. They've come as refugees, they've come as colonizers, they've come as speculators and business owners, they've come as runaways, but whether they were running towards something or from something, no matter how dire the circumstances were that brought them here, people who, it's different than people who were stolen and stolen and taken. That's a different idea than running to or running from. To be just snatched up, as the Europeans played God.
Yeah.
And that's powerful, really powerful.
Well, I think I think maybe what I'm learning is my views of American history are, I still feel very uninformed, and I still have so much to learn, and which can help shape my the choices I make in my life, and how I can be a better citizen and brother and sister to everybody. And so I think education is so important.
Let me ask you, what is your so I'm curious, since you were talking about how different people came over here, what is your family's history? How did they end up in the United States? Have they always been here as far back as you can trace, or do you know? No,
what
their story is?
On my mother's side of the family, her father was Mexican Indian. So he's from Chihuahua, Mexico, the Tarahumara So I have Native American blood, and his mother was from southern Mexico. Married an Irishman who came over to help build the railroad, so I have some mixed European blood. And then on my father's side, I believe Scotland from 4 generations back. Yeah.
The melting pot, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Interesting. When did they come from Chihuahua to?
It was.
I'm wondering in history because I always think of California as being. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, relatively, that California was part of Mexico.
Right. Well, it was actually so my grandfather, born in 1915, he and his mother crossed the Rio Grande into El Paso when he was like 5, and then they hopped a train west to LA where he grew up, and he was the first Latin American to ever win an Oscar.
Huh.
Yeah.
For what?
Well, the first for a movie called for Lust for Life with Kirk Douglas. He played Paul Gauguin, the painter.
Well, how cool is that?
Yeah. And then he won a second one. They were both for Best Supporting Actors, supporting Marlon Brando in Viva Zapata, where he played Emiliano Zapata's brother, Eufemio Zapata.
My Aunt Debbie is here on the watching us, and she says, "Great movie."
Yeah, ask her if she knows who Anthony Quinn is.
Well, that's very cool. Cool family history, Jeb.
Yeah.
Oh, and she says another great movie. There we are.
Oh, okay.
Now these feel like, first of all, like, I feel like we are sitting around a campfire. Like we could swap stories and
for sure,
and, all this stuff. So pass the marshmallows, will you?
Love marshmallows.
Oh shoot, there was something on the tip of my tongue. History, family history, stories, your fashionable hat, and your family. Damn it, it's gone. We'll have to have you on as another guest another time.
Sorry. Well, if you think of it, you can just, mid-song, if you think of it, then...
I just thought of it.
Okay.
So that whole idea, I mean, it's so, of course, like, there's so much imagery there of crossing the Rio Grande and coming into El Paso and taking a train to LA and then all of that stuff. And I was wondering if you've ever written about that, if it has entered into your songwriting at all.
I wrote a song. I started to write a song, actually, about the time my grandfather died. My grandfather died. I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and I wanted to move east. So I planned to drive across the country and move to New York City. That was the summer of 2001. The day that and my grandfather had been sick for a while, and part of the impetus for moving out there was to be closer to him. He was living in Rhode Island at the time, and we had developed a great relationship. And as an adult, finally, he accepted me as an artist. It felt so good. And the day that I left to drive across the country, he died. So it was a very surreal time. I went east, and then I had to fly back to LA, where they had this huge, like, celebrity-studded, really public funeral, and I wrote about that. And it was kind of a hateful song about how when somebody dies, all of a sudden the world like showers their love on you. When during your life it's such a battle. And I never really finished the song because I didn't want to continue performing this piece that made me feel so angry inside. So I kind of scrapped it. So I don't know, maybe I'll revisit it somehow, or give it to somebody else to help me work on it. Yeah,
or maybe sometimes stories are so close and also when you're talking about your grandfather's life, you mentioned that he came over when he was 5, and then now you're talking about his death, and there's so much between those, there's so much time and potentially things that have resonated in your own mind and heart about his life over that time. Maybe that's where co-writing comes into in the mix, because when you have someone else like, they're hearing the story that you have to tell, and certain things kind of stick out, like, that resonates, that's interesting, or let's go into that little point. So
I would love that. Yeah,
maybe there's something there.
I mean, I don't know anybody who writes songs who could possibly help me with that. But
yeah, me neither. I know no songwriters. It's a real dearth over here.
Yeah.
Mark, do you see Mark's comment about Omaha?
I don't see any comment. Am I supposed to be able to see comments?
Oh, okay. I'll read it to you then. So,
there they are. I can see it now.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
I was on private chat for some reason. That was the default.
Oh, and I wasn't writing to you.
Oh.
So this is tomes and the tunes part. We can't forget to do that. And I was wondering if you have a song. Speaking of songwriters, I was wondering if you had a song that you would play for us.
Well, I have a couple in mind.
Let's spin the wheel.
What? If I were to do one song today, would you want to hear?
I love these kinds of choices.
Yeah, and I want to open it up to Susan and Mark and Debbie and anyone else who's out there. Josh, do you want to hear like a fun, like just drinking summer song, or do you want to hear like a real kind of serious?
Well, Jeb, if it helps you, I have like I have the song that I'm gonna play. Yeah, the song that I'm gonna play is it's not a deep introspective song.
Oh, okay.
For a change.
Oh, really? Okay.
So if that helps in any way,
yeah,
to you one way or another.
Oh, Mark says serious. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, let's see. Is Mark? I'll give you what you asked for if you give me what I asked for. Let's see. Do I get a lawn to sleep on? No. All right. It's all right. I'll give you... Just kidding.
Trading a song for a lawn.
Song for a lawn. All right. Debbie Blick will take anything. Debbie, you're my kind of gal. All right.
She's my kind of gal, too.
I have an Aunt Debbie, too. That's crazy.
Do you really?
That's crazy. What are the chances?
Maybe we're related.
All right. Let's see. Let me see what I can muster up for you here. Let's see.
Let's see if I can do... Oh, other side.
A little pitchy.
Trying to get Jeb. That didn't work.
All right.
Hi guys, I'm just trying to play. I'm trying to get Jeb nice and big here. Oh well. Side by side.
I may just take this guy off. He's not really staying on there with us. All right. Here's a song that is serious, but it's got some potential for joy.
Potential for joy.
I hope you enjoy it.
I like that.
Can you hear the guitar? Sorry, this thing doesn't intonate very well, so let's see if I can. That's pretty good. Remember when you were unstoppable? Back when you were a kid. Now you don't even catch a ball. You only avoid getting hit. great endures you run. Life tried to pull me under, but I'm untied from that strain. Never lost my sense of wonder. I get pushed, the better I swing. The better I swing. Yeah, yeah. Keep a leash on your animal. Put away your childish things. If you're not chasing capital, you're only chasing a dream. Life tries to pull me under, but I'm untied from that strain. Never lost my sense of wonder. When I get pushed, the better I swing. The better I swing. Yeah, yeah. Here we go. Sing with me. Na 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 na. Mr. Softy, you know? Na 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 Life tries to pull me under, but I'm untied from that strain. Never lost my sense of wonder. When I get pushed, the better the sooner I stop trying pleasing others. I'm happier doing my own thing. Some will cry to their mothers. When I get pushed, the better I swing. The better I swing. Yeah, yeah. Better I swing.
I dig that song.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeb.
Thank you, Arielle.
Have you recorded that?
Not yet.
Debbie wants to hear it today. Debbie, I think you just heard it. You can replay as much as you want. It started at about 4 minutes.
All right.
At about 40 minutes.
Okay, all right. Perfect.
Oh my gosh. I love that song. Such a cool groove, and your voice sounds so great. Love that.
Oh,
falsetto.
thanks, Arielle. Hi, Keisha.
Hi, Keisha. Yeah, and Josh said that this is why we love Jeb. Those key changes. Nice modulation there.
Thank you. I definitely stole it from somebody. Must have stolen it.
It's not like it's not like any of us are inventing new notes.
I guess you're right.
They're all
Yeah.
in the world, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's like the material's all here. It's just what you do with it.
I know, right? Yeah. It's got to do it. Got to get on the field and play.
Yeah, totally. I thought I would play. I'm really nervous about this. And,
Why?
This is going to be interesting, my friends. So this is one of the songs that was not recorded on the new album. This was a new album reject.
Oh, I love rejects. B-sides.
And because of that, I haven't played it in a long time, but there's something about it. So I pulled it out today, and I was like, maybe I'll play this. And then I was like, that's a bad idea. You haven't played it in a long time. But I could not put it aside. I kept thinking, well, how about another song? How about this? How about that? The other thing. And I thought, no. This song, for whatever reason, it's just like a kitten kind of pawing at the door, like, come on, let me out. So This, I'll tell you that the idea behind this song was, I was trying to flip things around, and I was thinking about, like the kind of idea of when your partner is having an affair.
Yeah.
However, the affair that partner is having is with you, right? Because you
Oh.
are in that affair.
Yeah,
right?
I love that. Yeah.
And so I was sort of, you know, flipping that idea around in my mind, and so you can, you know, it didn't make the album. There we go. But there's still something to it.
Oh, we're so honored to be hearing it. That's great.
Can you hear everything?
Yeah, you sound fantastic.
I might have taken it too fast. Let's like
Uh-oh.
slow it down. You know, sometimes that train just starts going.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called Tangles of the Years. I know where you go, late night on the road, city lights below, driving nice and slow. And I know who you're with, the bar stool where you sit, the olives in your gin, the way you lick your lips. And I know when you go, a shotgun date in tow, the roads that you'll take home, and all the tangles of the years, tug of war, love and fears. And I am thankful for the time I'm in for life. All the tangles of the years, tug of war, love and fears. And I am thankful for the time, the tangle of the years. 3 years ago was rough, the jobs were not enough, the kids were being tough. You always rose above. Your father drank too much, your brother's in a rut. No limit to your love. And all the tangles of the years, tug of war, love and fear. And I am thankful for the time, oh, I'm in for life. And all the tangles of the years, tug of war, love and fear. And I am thankful for the time, the tangles of the stories, all the truths and lies, the arc of our affair. I know you're by my side, with me every night, best thing in my life. All the tangles of the years, tug of war, love and fears. And I am thankful for the time, oh, I'm in for life. All the tangles of the years, tug of war, love and fear. And I am thankful for the time, tangles of the years. Whew.
Oh man.
First time playing that one out.
Wait, I have an ending for you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the ching chings. Perfect. Ha ha ha.
Wow, that was beautiful. If that didn't make the cut, the rest of the songs must be. Like,
Oh, they are winners. They are
Yeah.
winners.
Yeah.
Well, Jeb, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. Are you so you're on your road trip. Do you have any live shows planned while you're traveling?
Yes.
Do tell.
Yeah. Well, I do a Facebook Live every Tuesday night. I mean, I was off a couple weeks, but I'm back on schedule. Tuesday night. So I'm just hoping that wherever we are on Tuesday night, I'll have the capability of streaming. We're not going to go too much off the grid.
Yeah.
But I do have a new Facebook page, an artist page of my own.
Oh.
It's Jeb Colwell Music.
Jeb Colwell Music.
Yeah.
Everybody, go like Jeb Colwell Music.
Yeah.
Jeb, that Tuesday night stream, are you going to stick with the East Coast time frame for that show even as you travel, or are you going to keep it at, I think it was always at 10 o'clock
10
East Coast,
Eastern,
right?
yeah.
So are you going to keep it at 10 o'clock no matter what time zone you're in, or are you going to adhere to the East Coast time zone and then...
I don't know. I think I have... We'll see. I don't know. We'll make some sort of decision. But if you like the page, and I guess you'll be notified, right? And then
right. Yes.
And we might try and keep you on your toes a little bit. We'll see.
You know what I love about that show besides the you-ness of it and Jess's contributions? You guys put on like a really, really fun show, but also the timing of it, because I teach yoga here in Los Angeles online at 7 o'clock, and then no, at 6 o'clock, and then as soon as my yoga class is over, I pop over to see your live show, which starts.
That's sweet.
I'm usually like a couple of minutes late, but that's really fun. I
have Arielle,
my
thank you.
Tuesday night programming.
All right, well then I don't want to mess up your flow. So this week we're gonna try and adhere to the same schedule just for you. I love it. You have to do that, yeah.
And then what do you have a name for that show, or is that just like the Jeb show?
Well, so every week we give the show a new title, sort of a theme. Right now it's just been called a Facebook Live event with Jeb Colwell, directed by Jess Lazar, and then the title of the show.
Right. And then when is Shirtless at a Piano?
Right. What
is it? What are the words?
Shirtless and long johns at a piano. Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. When is that show?
So that's Fridays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
And I have a very special guest next Friday.
And
Who's
your special guest?
Her name is Arielle.
Oh, that's a cool name, Arielle.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
that's
Arielle.
Cool. That's next Friday.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
where are you gonna be? Where are you? Do you know where you're going to be at that point, or we don't know? We'll just.
I might actually be pretty close to the west at that point. I'm imagining maybe I'll be behind a piano in Yellowstone.
Cool.
Who knows?
I think it's probably pretty clear that I talked about the grounding details and I didn't know where I was with Toni Morrison, and then I'm so fascinated with your road trip. I'm like so interested in location, and so so we'll see where you are next Friday.
Yeah, it'll be fun either way.
All right, and everybody, I am doing my regular Arielle's acoustic happy hour tomorrow night. And I don't know if I'm going to play Tangles of the Years. If there's any requests for it, then I will, but we'll see. And I hope to see you all then. Jeb, thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you, Arielle.
It's great to have you.
Yeah.
All right, I will, I'll catch you, let's see here. How do I do this? We'll catch you here. I'm going to say goodbye to you right now, Jeb.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye, Arielle.
And for the rest of you, every Tomes and Tunes, next week we have Robin Tucker joining us. I'm super excited about that. I hope you will join for that. And that's it. That's the end of the show. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day.